class is in memory of Jared Olchen. Today is a very special day. Today is the Yahrtzeit of the Alter Rebbe, Reb Shneur Zalman of Liadi, who was the founder of the Chabad movement. He passed away in 1812. How many years is it? 206?
208.
And 8. Thank you. 208, yes. I'm two years off. What else happened in 1812?
War.
Which war?
War of
1812.
1812.
War of 1812.
War of 1812.
yeah.
When War of 1812. Which war was that? Who was fighting?
Napoleon.
Napoleon and the Tsar. And this war was the reason for the passing away of the Alter Rebbe. He was not old. I think he was 68. And he was a very strong man. But this war was the cause for his passing. At that time, most of the Jewish people lived under the control of the Tsar. The majority of the Jews lived in Russia, of the Jewish people. And then Napoleon came and he promised, what he promised? Democracy. Democracy and freedom, and everybody will be able to do whatever they want. And within the Jewish people, many Jews were very happy to hear that Napoleon is coming and winning and conquering Russia, because it'll be easier for the Jews to be Jewish. On the other hand, many great rabbis, Hasidic rabbis, on the other hand, the Alter Rebbe, Reb Shneur Zalman of Liadi, was supporting very much the Russian side. He wanted that the Tsar should win the war and overpower Napoleon. First of all, from an halachic point of view, what Jeremiah sent to the Jews in Babylon, when they exiled to Babylon, what he told them, he sent them a message.
Supposed to be loyal to the government of the country you're in.
He has to be loyal to the government that you live in, and you pray for their peace, for their success, because when there be peace for them, will be peace for you. Right? Ki bishloma yeh lachem shalom. When there be peace, when they will be good for you too. Then we see from the Torah, a Jew lives in a country, he has to pray for the good of this country. Doesn't make a difference who is better or is worse. Therefore, according to the Alter Rebbe, Russian Jews were supposed to pray that the Russian government will be in the fight, the war. But there is more than that. The beginning, he was the first one to start the Chabad movement. And he started in Lita, where it was the stronghold of the opponent of the Hasidic movement. And at that time, the Jewish institution, the federation of that time, controlled the Jewish, had power from the government to decide who can open a shul and who cannot open a shul, who can do something new and who can't. And the system, the establishment was against the Hasidic movement. And they didn't allow Hasidus to spread or to open their own shuls to do their own things. And eventually it got so bad that they informed the Alter Rebbe to the Tsar, and he went to jail. And after 53 days in being in jail, he was released. And then the Tsar issued an order that the Hasidic movement is a legitimate Jewish movement, and nobody can stop it. They have nothing to do. They are not against the government, as people try to say, and they have the right to open the shuls. And then basically, who legitimized the Hasidic movement? Not the Jews, the Tsar. Then from this point, the Alter Rebbe had a personal gratitude to the Tsar for allowing the Hasidic movement to flourish. But it was more than that. The Alter Rebbe was not just praying, just pray, this should win, the other should win. He took an active part in making sure that the Russians win the war. He had one of his Hasidim, his name was Reb Moshe Meislish. He was a very, very capable man, very intelligent person. And he knew many languages. He knew Russian and French and German and other languages. And besides this, he was a very capable person. He was the head of the community in Vilna for 22 years. And he was a big business, and basically a guy who can do many good things. The Alter Rebbe sent him to be a spy for the Russian army. And he went to the Napoleon's army, and he became very friendly with the biggest generals. And he heard from them information where they're going to attack, which side they're going to, and used to send messages to Russia. And once Napoleon was, he was not sure if this Jew, he can trust him 100%. He once stormed the room. He was sitting all in a meeting, and he put his hand on the heart of Moshe Meislich. He wanted to see if he's getting scared. And Moshe Meislich said many years later, if not what the Hasidus taught me, that the mind should control the heart, I would be lost. But Hasidus teaches that a person should always be, his mind should overcome his heart. You do what it's right, not what I want. That's what all Hasidus is all about. And by the Alter Rebbe, the Hasidim, especially the big one, they were exercising it big time. That he said he had this self-control, but he didn't move, like nothing happened. But the war was a very bloody war. Napoleon's army went into deep Russia, and as they get closer, the Alter Rebbe said he was living in Liadi. He says he doesn't want to be under the Napoleon's control, even not for a minute. He left before the holidays in the month of Elul. He was taking the war on 4 chariot, awesome buggies, and they left. And that winter was a terrible, terrible cold winter. That's actually why he lost the war, because of the winter. The Alter Rebbe was traveling, and from place to place, running away from the army. The army is going faster, and you have to go faster and faster. It was 60 people, the Alter Rebbe and his family, and this guy, no, this didn't go. And he traveled, and eventually, today, it was the middle of the winter, he got sick from traveling, and he was in a small village, and there was no Jews there. In the house of a non-Jewish person, he passed away. With very few family members next to him. He basically died just for the sake that Napoleon shouldn't win the war. The question is, what's so bad that why the Alter Rebbe was so much against Napoleon? He doesn't want to be under him for a minute. Be for a minute. What's the big deal? Officially, Napoleon was not against Jews. Officially. But it was the explanation for this comes from his son, the middle Rebbe. It's called the Mittel Rebbe. His name was Dov Ber. And he was the Rebbe after him. And he writes in a long letter what happened there when he ran away. He writes the whole story how they ran away from Napoleon. That he says that the Alter Rebbe said that the Tsar is a man who believes in God. The Tsar was a man who believed in God. He was a religious man. He believed in God and he respected religion. He respected people who believe in God. Napoleon was just the opposite. He was an atheist. He didn't believe in anything. He made fun of the whole concept of God. And his agenda, Napoleon's agenda, was to get rid of all the religions. No religious need and the religious need. Yeah, we'll give you freedom, but really it's all a joke. Who needs it? It's a joke. He made fun of it. The Alter Rebbe said that better having the Tsar and not having so good for the Jews, but being under the control of a person who believes in God, than being under somebody who denies God. Besides, he said that he was a Jew hater. Because in the war between belief, between faith and atheism, between believing in God and believing in nothing, we cannot take a risk. Because the belief of God is the foundation of humanity. Because people who don't believe in God will eventually kill everybody. As we saw, it was in Germany. There were people, the Nazis didn't believe in anything. And that's why they did what they did. It didn't come from a place of belief. It came from a place from anti-belief, from anti-faith. Rosh Hashanah, they arrived to Moscow. They left in the middle of the month of Elul, Rosh Hashanah, they came to Moscow, and the Alter Rebbe was very, very bitter and worried, and he said Psalm Salat on Rosh Hashanah because he saw how the French army is getting closer and closer and closer, and they're winning the war. And they're coming to Moscow. Well, the next day in Rosh Hashanah, he called his son and he told them, today I saw in my prayers, things in heaven turned around, and the Tsar is going to win. That's the way it was written today in the book in heaven. That's what he told them. Erev Yom Kippur of that year, the son comes to him and says, Father, the Russian Senate is running away from Moscow. Where is your promise? You told me the Tsar is going to win the war. And by that time, everybody knew that the Alter Rebbe is on the side of the Tsar. If at that time, if they win the war, they are in big trouble. If Napoleon wins the war, all the Chabad Hasidim are in huge trouble. He was in the Talis and film, it was Erev Yom Kippur. He told them, I swear to you that they will not be able to go over Moscow, go further from Moscow. And he will lose the war very soon. And that was the beginning of his collapse, of his losing the war. Because when it comes to belief, and you see, for example, we know the stories about Amalekites. It comes to Amalekites, we have to destroy them, we have to remember that, to destroy them. Oh, they got so worked up about Amalekite. You never get worked up like this about anybody else. See, the world in the olden days, you speak about now Egypt, speak about the parsha of this week. The old 10 plague, the agenda was to teach the Egyptian that there is a God. The Egyptians were not atheists. They were idol worshippers. What's the good part about it? They believe in something. They just believe not in this, not the right God. They believe in the wrong God. But they believe in a higher power. They know there is accountability. The problem with idol worshipping was that was another way to escape God. What does this mean? If I don't like this idol, I'll take this idol. I don't like this set of you, I'll take another set of you. Now there is a story about a rabbi who came to a searching committee to ask him, what is your set of beliefs? He said, this is my principles, but if you don't like it, I have another set of principles. You understand? Idol worshipping is really, I am God. I choose my God. I don't like this God, I'll take this God, I'll take this. But they at least needed a God. They needed somebody above. Then the agenda of God was, with the 10 plagues, is to eat the water of the Nile River, because that was the God of Egypt. Then it was all the way to the 10th plague, it was the taking the lamb, the Passover lamb, who was the ultimate God of Egypt, and to slaughter it. The whole agenda was to teach the Egyptian, and on the way to teach the Jews too, that there is God. Then the belief of God, that's the foundation of humanity. When a person knows there is accountability, that there is somebody above, it's not the policeman who you think you can outsmart them. There is Ayin Ro'ah, as the Mishnah says. The eye sees and the ear is listening, and everything that you say, that you do, is written in a book. In the olden days when the Mishnah was written, it was 2,000 years ago, we couldn't relate to it. Today, there is cameras, surveillance cameras everywhere. Your cell phone knows everywhere you go and records everything. And there is some chochems who say that even when you don't record it, they record you anyway. That's why the Alter Rebbe was the most important thing, that it should be somebody who believes in God. More than everything, that's the number one. Because this is the foundation of humanity, not just of the Jewish people, not just of religious people. All humanity knows that there is a higher power, and He created the world, and we every day we have to look Him in His face, so to speak, and ask ourselves that God really approves our behavior. And that's what today's Yahrtzeit is the Yahrtzeit of the Alter Rebbe. And he told us that you have to, the belief of God is everything, and more than that, when it comes to between Jews is also the way to reach God is by reaching out another Jew. That's the best way to reach God, because when you care for His children, then you really make a connection with God.